and welcome to another episode of Allot 360. I'm Michael Schachter, and I'm very pleased to be hosting today Erez Antebi, the CEO of Allot. Erez, welcome.
Hi, Michael.
Erez, last year when we interviewed you at Allot 360, you talked a lot about how we were revolutionizing cybersecurity for consumers through the CSP network. A year later, how does that look, and where do we stand?
Well, what we're trying to do, Michael, is, we believe that security is becoming an increasingly important part of everyday life. We use the internet more and more as individuals, and the threats on the internet are growing. Now, someone needs to take care of us. The situation as it is today is that consumers are actually responsible for themselves to provide for their own security. They have to find an app, they have to download it, configure it, put it on each and every one of their devices, and take responsibility for protecting themselves against the threats on the internet. That, I believe, is not sustainable. More than 95% of consumers don't do anything. Yet they are concerned. They understand that the threats are there, they want to be protected, but they don't know exactly what to do. They're a little bit afraid of it, they're a little bit not knowledgeable enough to know what to do with it, but they're concerned. So somebody needs to take the responsibility of solving the problem for the consumer without the consumer having to do the work or to do really anything by themselves. And I believe that the responsibility to do that and the right entity to do that is really the CSP, the communication service provider. I like to view this as similar to the water company. At home, I want to drink water, so I buy my water from the water company. They provide me water. They don't require me to put in a filter and a purifier and so on, so I can actually drink the water they provide me. They clean them, they clean the water, and they provide it to me clean and ready for use. Same thing, a communication service provider should provide us internet that is safe to use, and they should filter out malware, viruses, etc. from whatever it is that I am accessing in the internet. Now, a few years ago, this was a novel concept. A few years ago, almost no access provider was doing this. What we're seeing over the last few years is that the number of communication service providers that understand that this is going to be a significant part of their responsibility either today or in the very near future is growing dramatically. And therefore, what I see today is that the world is starting to understand that using endpoint apps as the mean for consumers securing themselves is not a sustainable solution, and it's definitely moving into a network-based security environment where the communication service providers are securing and providing a clean and safe internet access for each and every one of us to use. The challenge for the consumer is nothing. That's the whole point. The consumer, if it's a network-based security service, then the consumer does not have to do anything. He or she does not have to download anything, does not have to configure anything, does not have to take any responsibility. They just have to agree to have the communication service provider provide it to them. That's the huge difference. Something that is clientless, zero touch, very easy, provided as a service across all the devices that we have, and we have a growing number of devices at home. We have 5, 10, 20 devices at home today connected to the internet, across all of them, across different communication means. Consumer has to do nothing. That's the easy part. Now, the communication service provider has to do more. They need, first of all, to recognize that they should provide this kind of service. And the second part is they need to partner with a technology provider, such as Allot, to install technology in the network that will actually do that. I think the hardest part, and that's one that we're seeing getting easier and making advances every day, is getting the communication service provider to realize that they need to really provide this kind of service and to provide this security to their consumers. As we get over that hurdle, from that point on, Allot can take over. We can provide the technology, we can install it, we can make sure it works, we can integrate it with whatever is in the network, and we can enable them to provide that service. The difficult part, they need to understand they need to do that, but that is improving day in, day out, because we see more and more communication service providers understanding that this is something that they absolutely must do.
So, as you said, there's a big challenge, sort of a mindset for operators to accept that there is an opportunity and a responsibility. And we're seeing more of that. There are more opportunities out there for us, and we're winning more deals. But there's also a big challenge in launching such a service from the communication service provider perspective, and then getting the end customer to buy in. So can you tell us a little bit about the launches and how we see the coming year unfolding?
Over the last few years, we have launched this network-based security service with about 8 CSPs worldwide that are providing such a service to their consumers. We have signed deals with many more, but we have actually launched with 8. And this has been over the course of the last 2-3 years. This year, in 2022, we expect to launch an additional between 12 to 18 new networks. Why? Because the number of CSPs that understand the need to launch is growing dramatically. Now, first of all, just launching so many networks globally with different products, some of them are protecting the mobile network, some of them are protecting fixed networks, some of them are protecting both. That's a challenge in itself. We at Allot, we've seen this coming, so we've recruited the people that we need, we've trained them, we've built our organization to be able to support the CSPs in doing that, and we're ready for the challenge. As we look at the CSPs, there are several challenges for them internally. Anything that touches the CSP network is complicated for them. They need to make sure that whatever they put in is well tested, it's integrated properly, it's integrated with their billing systems, with their operational systems, it's reliable. Their people are trained on what to do if something bad happens, etc., etc. And this takes time. And it interfaces with many other products that the operator has in their network. So typically it takes about a year or sometimes more from signing the contract until the service is actually launched. I believe that as time goes by, we will be able to help CSPs bring that down, but that's one major challenge. The second challenge is, how do you bring this service to the attention of the consumer, and how do you make sure that the consumer knows about it and actually signs up for it? Now, we have in Allot, I would say we've gathered some expertise with that, working with the different operators. We saw what works well, we saw what does not work well, and within our marketing team, we have customer value managers that work with the CSP marketing teams to figure out what are good go-to-market plans, what are not so good, what can we expect in different ways of packaging the service, whether we add it to existing plans, whether we open new plans, do we launch this and provide it as part of what the salespeople in stores do or not, and to whom do they address it, and what is the sales pitch of a person in the store when he addresses the consumer. We've developed an expertise with that, and part of the value that we bring to the CSP when we work with them and launch such a service is that expertise to shorten the gap between just having a service and making it commercially successful, where many customers are actually buying it and using it.
So as part of this process and this growth for our company, we've taken on more of a cybersecurity sort of footprint and face to the industry. What are the things that we're doing, and how have we gotten to this point to be viewed now as a cybersecurity solution provider?
I think we did a few things to put us in this position. I think we were the first to recognize that this is going to be a tremendously important trend and value for the various CSPs worldwide. And then we did a few things that made us more distinct and different from others. First of all, we developed a platform that To this day, I'm not aware of a parallel with any other company. We have a technology platform that from the onset set out to protect any consumers across all their devices and across all their access means, whether it's mobile or fixed or anything else, and do that across all threats. Now, that's a very, very tall order. And the way we did that is we developed a system which basically has 3 layers in the product. One is enforcement points. We can enforce security both in the core network of the operator. We can enforce security in the router in the home. So if you're working on your Wi-Fi at home, that will be the place of the security, where security is enforced. We can enforce it on the DNS lines. We can even enforce it if you go off network and you go to a Starbucks, then we can provide you an app that will help enforce those same security rules when you're off network as well. Now, it's not just that we have different enforcement points. All of them are managed by the exact same Allot secure management platform that makes sure that the same threat database, the same security measures, the same profiles, the same configuration is done at all security points, regardless of where you are and which device you are using and so on. So one thing is the product is very, very unique. The second thing is we developed a very simple but not that widely spread business model. We come to the operator and tell them, guys, we think that this is something that you, the operator, need to do. It will bring you brand value, it will bring you new revenues. And we don't ask you, the operator, to take our word for it. We're willing to put literally our money where our mouth is. So we will provide you, the operator, with everything you need in terms of hardware, software, professional services, marketing support, what have you. And we will share the new revenues that will be created from providing that service. And that's a very unique business model. It's much more easier for operators to work with us that way. And I think the combination of the business model and the combination of the product and the fact that we were first to think of it in these terms, I think that's what's bringing us to the forefront of this industry.
So it sounds like we're really poised to take off. How do you see the coming years in this domain?
I think the coming years, to me, look very, very promising. I think that the number of operators that are looking to provide these services, I see that growing literally every day. I think we as Allot were taking the leading position in the market in 2021. Based on our count, at least, we closed the majority of the deals that operators closed worldwide for security as a service. So we closed more than everyone else put together. That's a leading position. I think we are seeing that operators that have launched this are getting very successful penetration rates. We see that when people understand that there is such a solution to their concern, it's very easy for them to buy because they don't have to do anything. And it's also very easy to sell. I visited stores and talked to the salespeople who are selling this to customers and asked them, okay, is it good for you? Do you like selling this? I said, sure, it's really easy. Tell them, hey, we'll protect you for less than the price of a cup of coffee a month. We'll protect you without you, the consumer, having to do anything. Just sign here. And people are concerned. So it's easy to sell. And we've seen operators that have had success rates where 50%, 60% of customers who walk into the door in their stores sign up for this service. It's unprecedented in any other service that they're selling. So I see this as taking off very dramatically, both in number of operators and in the penetration. And I am extremely bullish on where this is going.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Erez, for discussing the security side of Allot. I'd like to now turn to the area that we've been in for many more years, network intelligence. the C control that comes before secure. We've been in that market, as I said, for many years. Well, what's new in that domain?
Well, like you said, Michael, the CN control or traffic management and analytics, we've been in that market for quite a few years, and I think that there are several things that are happening there that are new. The biggest change, I think, is in the infrastructure of the operators themselves. If you go many years ago, operators would buy proprietary hardware. That's nowhere to be found anywhere. Then at some point they moved to commercial off-the-shelf hardware. Then at some point they tried to go to virtualized network. But I think where operators are really ending up is moving to the cloud. I think that's really the most interesting and challenging change that is happening. I think operators understand that there's not that much value anymore in building their own dedicated data centers, but that their value as operators is really with accessing the customers, providing them the service, owning quote unquote the customer relationship, and that the core network could be outsourced to the cloud, to cloud providers like AWS or others, that their expertise is to build cloud environments and run software on that. So we in Allot, we have been moving all our software to be fully containerized, working in cloud native environments, and we've done that already with several operators. We've launched last year, we've launched our solutions, our traffic management solutions in a couple of different operators in the cloud environment. I think what we've also done is we've signed an agreement with AWS to partner with them, because we see AWS going aggressively after operators and offering them to take over their data centers and build for them their new data centers as they need them. And we are partnering with AWS to be part of that solution that they can offer. And they can come to the operator and say, okay, here's a cloud environment. We can run all your core business, all your core systems on this. And hey, you know what? If you need traffic management, here's Allot's solution. It runs already inside with this. It's already integrated. It's working. If you want that kind of solution, here it is available. I think that's very, very, very important.
So one of the big pushes for that, of course, is 5G, a cloud-based network, not just data centers, but as you said, the core itself. And I know we've done a lot of exciting 5G work, and that's been part of our push as well. So what do you see as the 5G challenges that Allot has to address today?
I think 5G is, everything is a challenge, right? But I think the more interesting thing is where are the opportunities here. The big challenge in 5G is moving into a native cloud environment, which I think we discussed in the previous question. But the opportunities here really are on two different levels. We need to understand that the difference between 5G and 4G is not just it's same thing but faster. It's a totally different environment. One piece of it is the fact that it's cloud. It's a cloud environment, but the other thing is that we're getting a lot more traffic and we're getting many points of connection to the internet. That means that the network itself is going to be much harder to protect. Now here in Allot, we developed protection for the networks back when we were working on 4G networks. And we protect, because we are a traffic management company, we know how to identify attacks in real time, and we know how to filter them out in real time in the network without sending traffic to some external location like a scrubbing center or something like that. So for the 5G world, we've developed a new product that we call 5G Net Protect, which basically protects 5G networks from distributed denial of service and volumetric attacks within the network without having to send the traffic outside to be cleansed. Now in 5G networks, that's very critical because one of the main attributes of a 5G network is low latency. So you don't have time to send the traffic elsewhere. And that's why we deal with all the bad traffic in the network on site immediately. And that's a huge opportunity for us. Second opportunity, obviously, is when operators go to a 5G network, it's time for them to reassess who are they working with for traffic management. And for us, that's an enormous opportunity. We have been, over the last couple of years, we have been replacing our competitors in traffic management in various networks that they have been working in for years because of our better product and our better service. I think that when a decision on a 5G network comes along, that gives the operator ever so much more ease in choosing an alternative to whomever they have been working with until that point. So I only see huge opportunities for Allot in this 5G growing world.
So 5G is disruptive both technologically, but you're saying also from a business perspective.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you see us poised to continue our growth in the network intelligence and traffic management domain as well.
We've been growing in network intelligence and traffic management now 5 years, year after year, and we've been growing faster than the market has been growing. Market has been growing probably low single digits, and we've been growing much faster than that, year after year, which means we're taking market share. I believe that we will be able to continue to grow in the network traffic management and analytics area. I think 5G could become a huge catalyst for our growth and a fantastic growth engine for us for exactly the reasons that we talked about. It's disruptive technologically, and we're fitting in there as we're working with cloud providers and as we're providing protection from the network and not just traffic management. And it's disruptive from a business perspective as it enables the operators to take a fresh look on who they're working with, and we're there to serve them at that time.
Thank you, Erez, and thank you all for joining us at Allot 360. Things are looking smart and secure. Thank you all, and see you at the next episode of Allot 360.